Defensive Champion from the Isle of Samoa, weighing in at 350 pounds, Umaga. The WWE Champion from West Newbury, Massachusetts, weighing in at 248 pounds, John Cena.
A big bienvenue to our fans around the world from Montreal, Quebec. Jim Ross here with Jerry the King Lawler.
And folks, let me assure you that tonight's show is a lot better than JR's French. Jeez.
Well, there's no question of that, King. These Montreal fans are ready to get started, and so am I. So what are we waiting for?
His opponent telegraphed that one.
That went nowhere. Would you look at the size and the speed of Umaga? I've never seen a superstar that big move so quickly.
No kidding. He really is a Samoan bulldozer.
Yeah, that's what they call him. Damned if I can find a better description. You don't want to get on this man's bad side.
You're assuming that he's got another side, JR. I'm not gonna take any chances. I'm just gonna stay out of his way.
These superstars are going to put each other through wrestling hell tonight.
They've already got a pretty good start on that, JR.
They have indeed, King. I don't think there's an ounce of quit between them.
Yeah, that's where things get dangerous. If you're too proud to admit that it's not your night, you might...
He's all fired up now, King. And I'd hate to be on the receiving end.
I don't think his opponent's got a hope of hurting him now.
Oh boy, the adrenaline is pumping. I think this could be the beginning of the end.
No, it can't end like this. Come on, do something quick.
You talk about the future of WWE, and you're looking at it in John Cena.
Oh, come on, JR. John Cena's a thug. You know it. I know it. And all of these people know it. It makes me sick that he's allowed to be a WWE superstar.
I don't know how you can say that, King. Cena has dedicated himself to entertaining these fans, and quite frankly, I find him to have more character than many so-called respectable superstars.
There's a difference between entertaining the fans and setting a bad example, JR.
I don't have any earthly idea what you're talking about, King. I think Cena sets a great example for our fans and superstars alike.
I don't think these superstars have any intention of taking it easy on each other tonight.
That's not what they signed up for, King. And quite frankly, I think these fans would be disappointed if they didn't go all out.
That's easy for the fans to say. They've never set foot inside that ring.
No, but they spend their hard-earned dollars to watch what goes on inside. And with all reality, John. I don't think he's coming up there for the view.
After some of the things we've seen in this ring, JR, I think we'd better remind the folks at home not to try this stuff themselves.
That's for damn sure, King. The WWE superstars are trained professionals.
And even they don't walk away from every match in the best shape.
They sure don't. We've seen more than one superstar taken out of here on a stretcher.
He's climbing the turnbuckle. What's he up to? This has gone beyond just being a match, JR. I think these superstars genuinely hate each other.
There's no love lost between these competitors, that's for sure. If looks could kill, somebody would be pushing up daisies right now.
You gotta admit, that makes for a much more interesting match, JR.
It sure does. But I just hope these superstars can settle their differences in the ring and leave it at that. Ugh.
Well, from the looks of things, it's not hard to tell how this one's gonna go.
What are you talking about, King? I think this is... What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the...
What are you talking about, King? I think this is still an extremely competitive match that could go either way.
You know, JR, it's obvious that the only exercise you get is stretching the truth or jumping to conclusions.
Well, judging from the shape I'm in, I don't appear to be doing too much of either, King. You're looking pretty fit, though, I must say. These superstars are in terrific shape, and that comes as no surprise whatsoever.
No kidding. If you don't have that conditioning, you're not gonna last long in a match.
You sure aren't, and that's only one of the many reasons I try to stay out of the ring whenever possible.
So, how do you think this one's gonna turn out, JR?
Honestly, King, I have absolutely no idea. Anything can happen here in the WWE.
But you got to have a guess, right?
I might, but I'd rather keep it to myself if it's all the same to you, King. They call him the Samoan Bulldozer, and you don't get closer to the truth than that.
No kidding. He's just about as big and almost as strong. And the only difference is you can turn a bulldozer off if something goes wrong.
This match is going to continue until someone's completely debilitated. And considering the resiliency of these superstars, that's not going to be easy.
That's for sure. No one in this match is going down without a fight.
Oh no. We know what this is.
That can crush your windpipe, JR. Listen to the crowd, JR. I think they've got something to say to these superstars.
And if they're smart, they'll listen. Remember, without these fans, these superstars are out of a job.
4, 5. I think these superstars have a legitimate beef with each other, JR.
So do I, King. I'm not so sure their issues with each other are going to be solved with one match.
I hope not. I'd love to see them go at it again and again. like he read his opponent's mind.
I'll be honest with you, King. This is not the way I thought this match would go at all.
Me neither, JR. I guess that just goes to show that anything can happen in the WWE.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, King. And it's that unpredictability that makes it so exciting.
Wow! Listen to these fans, JR!
You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all the people some of the time, but there's no fooling the WWE fans at all.
These superstars are beating the heck out of each other. And this crowd can't get enough of it.
It's what they paid to see, King, and they're getting their money's worth tonight.
They sure are, JR. There's no question these superstars are earning their paychecks. Boy, this John Cena is his own biggest fan. How come all of these rappers can't talk about anything except how great they are?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, King. Cena's got some...
How come all of these rappers can't talk about anything except how great they are?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, King. Cena's got... I don't think there's anything wrong with that, King. Cena's got some impressive accomplishments to his credit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, King. Cena's got some impressive accomplishments to his credit. I think he's got every right to be proud.
Well, you know what they say, JR. Pride goes before a fall. And from the looks of things, John Cena's got a heck of a fall ahead of him.
This capacity crowd is making their opinions known tonight.
They sure are, JR, and I'd love to hear it.
I tell you, King, sometimes I get exhausted just watching these superstars compete.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't think most people appreciate what incredible athletes these WWE superstars really are.
You got to have some excellent conditioning to be able to do what they do.
Well, that's the name of the game, JR. You gotta keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car. You gotta keep moving. No dog ever peed on a moving car.
Oh, that's a lovely image, King. I'd ask you where you come up with this stuff, but I don't think I want to know, quite frankly. I've got a feeling that this has all the makings of an instant classic.
That's probably just gas, JR.
Well, I did have some good old Oklahoma barbecue before tonight's show, but I don't think that's it, King.
Man, look at the size of Umaga. What do you feed a guy to get him that big, JR?
I don't even want to guess, King, because it looks to me like Umaga's got a hungry eye on his opponent. Boy, what a match. I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who's going to win this thing.
What? Have you got both your contacts in one eye, JR? It's been obvious to me since the start of the match.
Oh, really? Well, then, why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way! I can already...
Why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way! I can already...
Why don't you just enlighten the rest of us, King?
No way! I can already tell this is gonna be a great match, and I don't want to ruin the ending for you.
You're too kind, King. You're also full of horse manure, as far as I can tell. There aren't many superstars as diversely talented as John Cena. He's as good in the ring as he is on the microphone, and that's saying something.
I won't argue with you about Cena's mic skills. He sure can't talk a good game. But when it comes right down to it, I don't think he can back it up.
King, you're as crazy as a pet coon. Did you happen to notice how many times Cena's worn gold around his waist? Seems to me like he's got no problem putting his money where his mouth is. I'm not so sure this one's about winning or losing anymore. I think it's become more personal than that.
Of course it's personal, JR. Anytime you step into the ring with someone who wants to beat you down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences in this match, or if it's going to wind
Down in order to win the match, it's personal.
I guess I can't argue with that, King. I just wonder if they'll be able to settle their differences in this match, or if it's going to wind up bigger than that.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that. Differences in this match, or if it's going to wind up bigger than that.
You could look at any professional sport you want, JR, and you won't find more incredible athletes than the WWE superstars.
You're not wrong, King. They compete every week until they are physically incapable of continuing. There's no off-season in the WWE.
We're not talking about running a ball down a field or slapping a puck into a net. This is serious physical competition.
It sure is. The toughest athletes in the world are on the WWE roster. And that's a fact. WWE roster. And that's a fact. WWE roster. And that's a fact. I'm sure these competitors have studied each other very carefully.
This match would be over by now if they had, JR. You never get into the ring without doing your homework.
That would be a recipe for disaster for sure, King. Sounds like this crowd's got something on their minds, King.
Who cares about them, JR? Look what's going on in the ring. You gotta respect the commitment and the dedication of these superstars to their careers.
No question about it, King. Every superstar on the roster has had to make more sacrifices than any other professional athlete I know.
It really is like being married to your career. There's not much room for anything else.
And marriage is the subject which you happen to be something of an authority. Isn't that right, King?
Come on now, JR. A man doesn't know what true happiness is until he's married. And then it's too late.
It doesn't matter who Umaga's in the ring against or how I feel about them personally. I pity them.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't even know if Umaga understands the whole concept of winning a match. I think he just hits his opponent until they don't get up anymore.
And I don't care how tough you are. After going a few rounds with the Samoan bulldozer, not getting up must start to seem like a pretty good idea.
I think I see where this one's going, JR. I don't think we're very far from the end of the match.
I disagree entirely, King. I bet my Oklahoma Sooner ass that this one isn't even close to being over.
That's a pretty big bet, JR. Are you sure you're able to cover it? I wonder if Smackdown's gonna have anything nearly this good next Friday.
I think we both know the answer to that one, King. How could they compete with a match like this? This is raw action at its finest. Oh no! That last shot busted him open, and the blood is flowing freely.
This is great, JR. Where else besides the WWE can you see this kind of ruthless aggression?
I can't think of anywhere else, King, but I'm afraid I don't share your enthusiasm for this kind of brutality. Ugh.
Man, I don't mind telling you, JR. This is MAGA scaring the heck out of me.
He's a savage. He's primal. A carnivore. Like some kind of wild animal.
Yeah, and if he wasn't competing in the WWE, they'd probably have him locked up in a cage and charge admission just to see him. I think it's pretty obvious which way this one's gonna go, JR.
Well, from my perspective, this is still anybody's match.
I'd like to see things from your perspective, JR, but I'd have to get my head out of my rear end first.
And Lord knows it's been up there for so long that that would be no easy feat.
I tell you, JR, this one has the potential to be a match of the year candidate.
No doubt about it, King. As far as I'm concerned, any WWE match has that potential. Everyone on the roster is an accomplished wrestler. I'll tell you what, King, the WWE superstars are about the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport here.
What do you mean, just about, JR? Can you actually think of anywhere else that you can see athletes of this caliber?
I was just going for a little humility there, King. I'm not surprised it was lost on you.
You talk about, here comes that Samoan spike!
And that's one of the most devastating moves in the business. You can crush a person's throat with that move.
I think these superstars are getting some feedback from the crowd, JR.
Nothing wrong with that, King. That's what we'd like to hear.
Do you ever think you'd be watching these superstars compete against each other here tonight, JR?
I had a feeling their paths were going to cross sooner or later. And I'm glad I'm here to see it.
Me too. It almost makes it worth having to sit next to you and listen to those corny expressions of yours. What the heck is a government mule anyway?
It's what you get beaten by when you're in the middle of a slobber knock. And if you don't have the guts to stick around, you might run like a scalded dog with a case of the liver.
Oh man! That's gonna change the tone of this match, JR.
Yeah, and not for the better either. I wish the ref would actually pay attention to what's going on. Tape.
All right, enough! I'm getting a translator before I have to come out here with you again.
Tape.
All's fair in love and war, JR. And I love it when this guy goes to war.
Whoever said that cheaters never prosper certainly never saw this man in action.
Remind me to never try and step between these guys, JR.
That would be hazardous to your health for sure, King.
The intensity of these superstars is unbelievable.
No doubt about that, King. The fans are getting their money's worth here tonight.
These superstars are gonna tear each other apart.
That's exactly what the fans paid to see, King, and they're not gonna go home disappointed.
I've talked to these superstars backstage before the match, and I don't think I've ever seen competitors so ready to get it on.
And that's coming through loud and clear here tonight in this match. They're not taking it easy on each other either.
It's been said a million times, but I'll say it again. This isn't ballet. Ruthless aggression is the name of the game. I'm not sure I agree with what the crowd is chanting, JR, but I guess it's their right.
You're damn right it is. It comes from the price of admission.
I thought I'd picked the winner before the match started, JR, but now I'm having second thoughts.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, King. Usually I wonder if you've even had first thoughts.
I feel like the luckiest guy in the world, JR. I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job.
Well, don't let Mr. McMahon hear you say that, King, or you might wind up having to do it for free.
That's true. I don't want to say that Mr. McMahon's cheap, JR, but I heard he won't even tip a canoe.
What an incredible performance by these phenomenal superstars.
Did you expect anything less, JR? I mean, look who's in the ring right now.
No, I didn't, King. I had high expectations, and I'm happy to say that this match has exceeded them all. I think this crowd has decided to exercise the right of free speech.
God bless the First Amendment, JR. Now remember, kids, whatever you do, don't try this stuff at home.
Absolutely not. Even these trained professionals wind up...
Oh man, here it comes.
Oh my God! The Samoan spike! That thumb jammed straight into the throat!
I'd hate to be that referee, JR. Uh-oh. Come on. You gotta stop this guy before he really gets going.
I don't think that's gonna happen, King. He's built up too much momentum to be stopped now.
What does he think he's doing? He's just showing off for the crowd now.
He's wrestling the match his way. And I think it's gonna pay off, mark my words.
Oh boy, you might want to close your eyes, JR. This one could get ugly.
You're damn right it could. It could get bowling shoe ugly. And that's what this business is all about. It's not ballet, you know.
You think these fans have gotten their money's worth tonight, JR?
If they haven't yet, I'm sure they're going to by the end of this match.
Well, I don't say this too often, but I completely agree with you.
Well, you can't ever accuse the WWE fans of being shy about saying what's on their minds.
You sure can, JR. And I don't think we'd have it any other way. I can't remember the last time I saw superstars this fired up. I don't think they've even considered the possibility that they might not win this thing.
There's an awful lot of pride on the line here, King. No one in that ring wants to have to go back to the locker room as a loser. He's climbing up! I'm not so sure this is a good idea!
I could watch these superstars go at it all night, JR.
So could I, King, but all good things must come to an end. Let's just hope it just doesn't end too soon.
I feel so lucky that I'm actually getting to see these superstars wrestle each other.
Me too, King. This one has the potential to become an instant classic.
Oh boy, these fans have got something on their minds, JR.
Well, they paid for their tickets, King, and they've got a right to say whatever they want.
I think the best is
I agree with you 100%. Whenever you put abilities of this caliber in a match together, it just gets better and better. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears had been shed in that very ring.
And I think there's going to be a...
Up the turnbuckle he goes! I hope he knows what he's doing!
Look at these superstars, JR. They absolutely refuse to be intimidated by each other.
There's a determined look in the eyes of these competitors. No one's giving an inch.
If any superstar shows the slightest hint of weakness, they've lost the match.
That's for sure. No matter how beat up you are, you can't ever let your opponent know the extent of your injury.
And that's easier said than done, JR. The human body can only absorb so much punishment.
8, 9, 10.
It's matches like this that make this the greatest job in the world, JR.
And
Here's your winner and still the WWE Champion, John Cena.
but not you.